So the purpose of this video is to just show you how you can solder a header on a Raspberry Pi Zero. So a lot of these you'll get and they won't come with a header soldered onto them, and you'll need to do this yourself, or you can pay people to do it for you. I think some are sold with headers on, but here's how you can solder one of these on yourself. So this is a color-coded one, which is sort of nice because it shows you what the 5 volts is, where the grounds are, the blacks. And basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to solder this on and not have this be on an angle. You want this like perfectly flat, okay? And the best way I think to do this is to line it up, get it on, and then to tip it upside down and push it straight into a breadboard. And this, we've got the USB ports here, keeps it pretty much perfectly flat. And then in terms of soldering, there's lots of good soldering videos out here. I'll show you very quickly how to do this. So I like to use fine solder. I think this is 0.02 in terms of the width or the width of the solder. I like to use a temperature controlled soldering iron. I use a pine saw, but there's loads of good ones out there. I bet the TS80 and some of the sort of 240 volt plugged in ones, but this is a USB-C powered, and you can see here, this is my pine saw. I've got this temperature controlled and set to 340 degrees. And so the idea here is what we're going to do is we're going to heat the pin and the pad, okay? So we're going to get this hot, and the idea here is we're going to heat this up. And sometimes it helps just to basically tin the edge of the soldering iron a little bit. And you're going to heat this up, and that helps to sort of put the heat into the pin and the pad. And then we can just feed this in. So the idea here is you're not putting solder on the tip and then trying to transfer that. What you're doing is you're heating the pin. Let's try it over here with this pin here. You're heating the pin and the pad, and then you're feeding solder into that hole. And sometimes it takes a little bit to get it going, but that's the idea. And then you can just go through and do them all. And that's it. So that's your header soldered. It's not too hard. It's easy. It's easy for people to do. If you see any areas where there's bridging, and bridging is when there is a basically a connection between two pins that shouldn't be connected because you use too much solder, you can just clean that up by dragging your soldering iron along. But that looks, I think, pretty good. And the next thing to do is, for a prototype, this is completely fine. But if you wanted to use this long term, you would then give this a spray with some isopropyl alcohol and use an old toothbrush, an old new toothbrush, so like a hotel toothbrush, just to clean this up and remove any residues from the soldering. Obviously, you want to clean the tip of your soldering iron every time you do this, but that's hopefully going to show you how you can solder a header on a Raspberry Pi Zero.